A flood of toxic waste has killed at least 3 people and injured more than 100 in Hungary. Rescue services say the leak from an aluminium plant covered several towns in red sludge. People have reportedly also suffered from burns. The army is helping with the rescue effort. New figures show cash bonuses for city workers will hit £7 billion this year. But the economic think tank, the CEBR, which carried out the research, says the new 50% tax rate for people earning over £150,000 will mean the public purse stands to benefit from the bonuses, with the taxman taking just over half the payouts. Residents in parts of Oxfordshire can now heat their homes using renewable gas created by sewage. Human waste is being used to generate biogas, which is then fed into the gas grid. It's part of a strategy to cut the greenhouse gas emissions from heating and cooking in homes. Environmental campaigners hope the scheme will be taken up nationwide. Tributes are being paid to one of Britain's most famous actors and comedians. Sir Norman Wisdom died last night at the age of 95. His family says he passed away peacefully at his nursing home on the Isle of Man after suffering a series of strokes over the past 6 months. He'd risen from a childhood of severe poverty to become an award-winning TV and film actor. His agent explained what it was like to work with him.
You'd take him places and he was always messing around, but that was Norman. You just couldn't help loving him for it, and he would wind you up no end. If he was on a show and I couldn't get there, I'd phone him up and say, "Are you okay, Norman?" He said, "Oh, I feel very dizzy. I don't think I can go on tonight." And the place was packed, 3,000 people, and you'd start worrying. But after a while, you knew he was just winding you up. He was a naughty little boy.
And we'll be talking to his old friend Dame Vera Lynn a little later in this hour. I'll also be back at past with an update on the day's stories, including tiger on the loose. What happened to the cat that strayed into an Indian village?
Thanks, Jane. Let's get more now then on the news of that bombing in the centre of Derry in Northern Ireland. Overnight skies. David Blevins is at the scene, and describe the damage first of all, David.
Well, Dermot, it's difficult to tell from our vantage point the extent of the damage. We're still being kept at this police cordon about 300 metres from the seat of the explosion. But what I can tell you is that the windows and doors of the Ulster Bank here on the Culmore Road have been blown out, and that there is some structural and scorch damage to the building. Now, police forensic teams have been in and out from behind the cordon all day as they seek to ascertain exactly who was responsible for this attack, and if indeed they abandoned their device here on the way somewhere else for some reason, or have actually targeted this bank. Now, whatever the motivation, Northern Ireland's Deputy First Minister Martin McGuinness says there can be no